Yo, you're now listening to the funk you talking about. Life, culture, hip-hop, graffiti, the platform. The funk you talking about.
Here we go. It's your boy Future Funk, and you are now tuned into the funk you talking about. I got a real special guest today. Somebody that's, man, Bronx born and bred. Man, he's, when it comes to graffiti, legendary, iconic. There's not many more words I can say about him, but I'm such a pleasure to have him here with me. Please welcome Terrible TKID170.
Yo, what's up, man? Yo, my man Funk, man. Yo, what a pleasure, man. I'm digging the setup over here, man. It's just pretty cool, man. Hidden up in the mountains and shit, man. Yo.
This is where the Bronx lair right here. We all come up here.
Word, man.
Yo, man, let's begin with the very basics, man.
Yo, so anyway, man, yeah, I fucking started tagging, man, back in the days, back in like around 73 and stuff. I started tagging King 13. You know, that was like my first name and shit. At that time, I was living in Boynton Avenue between Bruckner and Watson. That was a crazy neighborhood, man, in the South Bronx, man. And I remember, man, you know, I used to do tricks on the swings. I was real good with that shit. And we were like battling this other park, these kids from Noble Park. And
graffiti.
No, this was swings, bro. Check this out, man.
Okay.
People don't, you know, there's so much shit that people don't know about, man, when it comes to the culture, man. We used to, you know, back in the days, man, you went to the park and there was these swings, right? And they had that hard fucking chains and that hard fucking seat. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Right? And we used to be acrobatic on these things. We used to jump over the fences, man, the big one behind us, the little one in front. We used to flip the thing over, do flipper boards. We used to do what they call an apple turnover, get over underneath the swing and fly over the fence, do that shit backwards, whatever, man. The kickoff, wrapping the freaking swing around the pole. You know, and those swings were hard, man. They hit you in the head or they hit you somewhere, man. They mess you up, man. That's why they changed them and put those little leather straps because of that stuff. But yeah, so I was doing tricks on the swings and we were battling these kids from another park, man. And we roasted them, man. So they kept calling me because I did the most tricks. They called me the king of the swings and stuff. So I started writing King 13. And you know, I was all psyched up and whatnot. And I remember, man, going to the bodega in the corner of Morrison and Watson and shit. And I was tagging on the icebox King 13.
Right.
And I got surrounded, man, by these kids and shit. They was all dressed outlaw. And for you guys that don't know what outlaw is, you know, back in the days, man, when, you know, in the days of the gangs, man, the street gangs and whatnot, outlaw was like the way people dress, man, you know, with the cut off Lee jackets and whatnot, right. The bandanas and stuff, and, you know, the Converses and stuff, man, you know, or jeans with one rolled up leg for whatever reason and shit.
Right.
You know, that was the style, man. So these kids were outlaw and they came up to me and goes, yo, you're tagging on our turf. And I was like, what the, you know, what do you mean? I didn't even know what that word turf meant, man, you know? And the next thing I know, man, they're showing me the light post and I see red Converses and sneakers hanging. And they go, yo, you see that? Those are our colors, man. You know, you in our turf. And I was like, oh shit, sorry. And sorry, nah, it ain't about sorry, man. Okay, you're gonna have to make reparations. I'm like, reparations? What the hell these people? Yeah, man, you tagged on it without our permission, man. And the kid, and one of them like recognized me, and I remember seeing him in the park and stuff, and he goes, yo, you that kid that does those crazy tricks on the swings. I like that shit, man. You dope, man. And I was like, yeah, thanks. You know, I was scared, bro. I was scared, man. And they says, you know what, man? We should let them get up with us, man, you know? So they told me, they said, listen, man, they basically gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, man. You know, they said, you could tag your name, right? And join the gang, or we just gonna fuck you up right now. I was like, well, you know, okay. I didn't want to join the gang.
Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. Where do I sign, man? And that's how I got into graffiti, man. Real graffiti.
What was the crew name?
It wasn't a crew. It was a gang. It was called the Bronx Enchanters, man. You know, this kid Bam Bam and fucking Red, all these crazy motherfuckers, man. They used to meet underneath the benches in Monroe High School and. Because they had these benches like a field, and that's where the meetings were at and stuff.
Right.
Anyway.
Any of these guys your influences?
These guys, no, but they were the ones that got me into street bombing. So I was running around, you know, bomb tagging tagging up, you know, BE, Bronx Enchanters, you know, and my little name, King 13 and stuff, man. You know, but not until they got into a rumble with the Flying Dutchman, and they were down in 3rd Avenue in Tremont, that area. And I remember walking one night, you know, through fucking Black Spade Turf and whatnot, and going down there, and then the cops fucking came out of nowhere. Cops came out of everywhere, just where we were getting ready to rumble and shit. And I remember I was 12 going on 13, man. You know, it was crazy. It was a crazy time for me. And anyway, I ended up just tagging. That's how I started writing and stuff, man, through this gang stuff, man. I was just a neighborhood toy, you know, bombing my name up and down freaking Boynton Avenue, all the buildings, you know, all the street poles and mailboxes and whatnot, and that whole Soundview area and shit, right? And, you know, but I used to see graffiti on the trains, man, you know, and I used to see guys like Taboo, you know, Phase 2, Riff 170, you know, I used to see guys like Tracy 168, man, King 2, you know, I used to see Chi-Chi 133, all these crazy, like these were the colorful pieces that I remember, but I also saw some burners, man, for some guys, man, like LK, you know, a lot of dope shit, man. And that kind of like stuck with me. I was like, yo, you know, this shit is pretty dope, man. I like this. And I just got into tagging and stuff. And then, you know, I left that gang. I started getting older and stuff, man. I had to get lashes. You know, they hit me with a belt in my back and shit to get out of that gang. And then I ended up with my boy Satch in another gang called the Renegades of Harlem. There I met some real hardcore bombers, Sly 108, who was with the Samurais, another gang. And I was chilling with the Renegades, and that was Danko, Smokey, you know, kid named Green Eye Mike, you know, Diamond Dave, you know, and they was bombing the 6 line at that time, man. And we was doing inside motion tagging. You know, I was motion tagging with these guys, you know, and at that time, you know, since I left the other gang, I changed my name from King 13 to Sen 102. And then I got into a shootout up in Crotona Park, man. I got shot, man, you know, and I don't really like talking about that stuff, man, because, you know, I don't want to rat people out and shit like that. Nah, it ain't about that, man. It's about this. That changed my life, man. You know, I was 16 years old, man. I was recovering in Lincoln Hospital, the new Lincoln Hospital on 149th Street, because it used to be somewhere else before that. And I remember my brother, he came in with some buffalo markers, and, you know, and I was handcuffed. I was first from intensive care unit. I went from there into a room with a cop. Because I was under arrest, because I was in a shootout, right? And I was handcuffed. Whenever anybody come, they handcuffed me to the bed. So my brother came with some buffalo markers and some drawing paper and shit. And I started doing tags. And they used to call me Big T, because, you know, I was tall and skinny. And when I played football with these motherfuckers, right, I used to go, yo, throw the ball. They used to laugh at me and say, yo, he looks like a Big T. So they called me Big T. And, you know, when I was in the Bronx Enchanters, I was the youngest one. They called me Kid. Yo, Kid, go in that store and rack up. Yo, Kid, go get a bottle of OE 800, you know, Old English and shit, because that's what they used to drink, Colt 45 and Old English. That was the beer. And they didn't have 45s, you know, 40 ounces. They had the 32, you know, 32 ounce joints. They didn't have fucking 40 ounces at that time. So they used to have me go in the store, and I used to rack that shit up, man. I learned how to rack, right?
Now, people, all right, we're talking about racking.
Go ahead.
And I know I have to explain this even to a lot of youngsters. We're going to talk about the rack.
The rack.
Give the viewers just a little story.
So
rack. What is it?
Well, racking up, and that was a term we used in the 70s, going in a store and stealing things. You know, they called it later on in the mid 80s. They called it boosting. I don't know what they call it now, but, you know, it's shoplifting. You go inside a store, you know, and you see something, and, you know, you take it without nobody looking and shit. You know, and that was racking up. And I could tell you a lot of stories, man, about racking. Wow. I remember going to Jersey, man. I remember my father had this 1967, was it a Plymouth Fury? It was a 68 Plymouth Fury. Big trunk, big fucking car, period, inside. I mean, you could fit 3 people comfortably in the front of this motherfucker, you know? And we used to go out to Jersey. We used to go to these stores, man. Wolf lumber, what was it? Wolf paints or whatever, hardware, Channel Lumbers, Rickles, these old stores that don't exist no more. They were like the Home Depot and the Lowe's back in those days, and we used to go in there and steal spray paint. They used to have, you know, Krylon, Rust-Oleum. I remember when they came out with the pound cans, the Rust-Oleum pound cans, you know. So we used to go in there and we go in. In the summertime, you wore a Lee jacket, right? And I was real skinny. So I could fucking like put like 2 cans in front. We used to wear the bell-bottom pants, man. You know what I'm saying? The bell-bottom pants. And I used to put 1 in one sock, 1 in the other sock, and with the bell-bottoms, 2 in here, 2 in the back. You know, if I could fit 1 in the sleeve, you know, walk out of a store in one shot, man, I could walk out with 6 to 8 cans. You know what I'm saying? And that was racking, and that's how we did our thing. Because, yo, you know, being a graffiti writer, you didn't have no money. That was the first thing. And being a down graffiti writer, you didn't buy no paint. I never bought paint, you know what I'm saying? So we used to just go and rack up, you know, and we went to the rack and racked up. That's why they called it rack up, you know? That's where the term came from. And yo, man, you know, we used to go on missions, man. And I remember one mission where they saw us racking, they locked the door. My boy took a fucking sledgehammer, and my boy, man, he rest in peace, man. You know, Ike, right? He used to write, Ike, the buck stops here, Ike. And he was a crazy motherfucker, man. And he was like, yo, they locking the door, man. They saw this dude racking. I think it was me, it was him, this other kid, Mike Nice, this kid Joker, you know, and Pessa. And yo, my man, he saw a thing with sledgehammers, man, and he just came and he sledgehammered the door open and we ran out of there, bro. Yo, that was crazy, man.
Yo, those stories, man, they can't be told because that would never happen these days.
Yeah, now that should be a police chase and shit.
Exactly.
It's just crazy, man. I remember one time we got surrounded by cops coming out of a channel lumber on Route 46 over there in Saddlewood, I think it's called, man. Yo, they just surrounded. They said, close the windows, you know, and we're like closing the windows. It was hot too, and it was me, Shock, my brother, Mike, Ike.
It was nothing to come home then with like 50, 60, 70.
Dude, we used to come with a trunk full, and that trunk was big. We used to come with about 100 cans, 120 cans. Yo, we used to go on missions, man. And then we come back, and then, you know, we sit and we start planning how to do these trains, you know. Like I used to sit down and you know, that's one thing about me. What really made me really good, fast, and really famous was the fact that I did everybody's piece that I pieced with. You know, I did the Pessa piece, I did the Ike piece, I did the Ray's pieces. You know, my boy fucking Cooper, he used to write Ray's, you know, Race, not Ray's, Race, you know, Race 1. And you know, these were my boys, man. So, you know, we used to go racking together, and I used to draw the pieces out, and we used to come up with these ideas and stuff, you know, and then we go hit the trains. Then we go with a duffel bag and shit, and we go down to the 1 tunnel, to the ghost yard, you know, to the 1 yard. Because that would be like, we was in Yonkers. We were basing ourselves out of Yonkers at that time, you know. And I mean, even though I lived in 192nd and Aqueduct in the Bronx and shit, I used to go up to Yonkers because, you know, after I got shot, my father, he moved up to Yonkers. Right. So, you know, I used to hang out up there, and that's where I met Pessa. And that motherfucker became my partner, my best friend and shit at the time. So, you know, we was based out of up there and shit, man, you know, and it was easy racks up there too, man. Getty Square, man, we used to go up there.
Factory up there.
There was, man. There was the Red Devil, Yes, the Red Devil over there, and it was like Mount Vernon and 233rd, but mostly on the Mount Vernon side, and by the train tracks and shit. And that place, that rack there, man, was one of the best racks because, you know, they had all this old paint. They used to put it in boxes, like in the like you came in there and there was like this big room before you actually go into the paint store, you know. Yeah. So in that room right there, they have boxes of all this old paint. And we used to just go in there. Nobody fucking watched it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we just go in there and we start racking up, man, you know? And just walk out with paint. I remember one time, man, they used to have Lady Martin's paint. They had one in Cross County, man. This is the funniest shit. It was me and Bill Rock, man. And it was like, we got coked up, man. We was down, my uncle used to have a club down there on Whitlock. What was the name of that street? Tiffany? I don't know. Down there in fucking Hunts Point, man, my uncle had a bar and shit. Longwood or Longfellow, one of those. He had a club there, right? And we used to go there and we used to get coked up. And me and Bill Rock, man, you know, we driving looking for breakfast and we end up in Cross County, right? We end up in Cross County and we see the Lady Martins and there's a big truck and it's a Sunday morning, like around 8 a.m.
And they stocking the place.
No, and they're stocking the place, and all the boxes are outside of Rust-Oleum and Lady Martin's paint, because that's what they had there. I think they had the wet paint, the Rust-Oleum, and the Martin's paint. And Martin's paint was whack, but the beige and the chrome and the flat black, that was some good paint, man. You know, and then of course the Rustos, man, but they didn't have like the dope colors of Rusto. They only had like, you know, you get lucky you find baby blue, but the blacks were good, man. You know, the dark blue was good, the royal blue, you know, the terracotta, those colors, man, they were dope, man. So anyway, yo, they loading up the stuff they bring. They have the boxes, man, on a pallet outside, man. Me and Bill Rock just fucking kept grabbing boxes and going to putting them in the car, coming back, grabbing more boxes. Yo, man, we came out of there with like about 20 boxes of freaking paint, man. Rustos, wet paint, you know.
So you're amassing all this paint now.
So now we got all this paint. Now it's time to paint, man. Yeah. And I remember in that particular instance, we ended up with TKID170. Now that was one of my mentors. You know, he was one who passed away, man. He rest in peace. And he was like the craziest motherfucker, man, that you would ever meet, man. Back in the days, man, this dude was so down. He was down to fight. He was an excellent artist. Yo, he was smart. He was quick, you know. Only thing, he had a bit of an ego, you know. But come on, man, you know, he was the man. He was the man. Who could blame him, man? He was the fucking man, you know. And I loved him like a brother. And from like 77 to 79, we were tight, man, you know.
He did a lot of storefronts.
He did. He ended up doing, he was like the first guy to really take graffiti to that commercial level. You know, people didn't know that, man. You know, there wasn't a lot of fucking people using graffiti for murals and there was none of that at that time. Tracy was the first one. Tracy was the first one to fucking go on the newspaper, the Daily News, in the wanted ads and say, listen, I'll paint your name on a train, any name, for $25. He put an ad in the Daily News. This is how innovative he was when it came to making money, man. You know, and he taught me all this stuff. He taught me everything from how to really rack up good to how to make money. And he also taught me to watch out for people because they don't have the best interest. You know, when it came to galleries and all, because he saw this whole thing, man. He saw this whole movement. Like, he knew he was part of something that was going to be great. He knew that back then. He was the first guy to do 3D letters, man. Like, you know, these Europeans, they come out now and they're doing all these fresh letters and stuff. Tracy was the first one. He called it monster style. Okay, stencils. You know how they're using stencils now? I mean, you know, back then you had fucking a couple of people. I forget what the guy's name, man. He was from the village. He was damn, man. Black Rat just did something for him, man. Sucks getting old, man. You know, you get those senior moments, you forget shit, man. But that's the reality of life, man. You know. But anyway, you know, he was like the first guy to use stencils for graffiti, for actual graffiti. And we used to do T-shirts, and it was palm trees and stuff. Next thing you know, he's doing Marilyn Monroe. He's doing Bruce Lee. He's doing, you know, he's doing Jimi Hendrix stencils. Yo, and not spray paint, man, but he was good with airbrush, man. You know, I had no clue that Tracy actually went to the High School of Art and Design. I had no clue he did that, but he did. You know, and that's how he had his sense of balance and his discipline, man. He was very disciplined when it came to the art, you know. Was he much of a train bomber? He killed the trains, man. From, I want to say, from like 73, you know, because they used to write Wanted. You know, Wanted. It was Chichi 133, King 2, you know. But first Chichi 133, Sonny 107, those guys, you know, they wrote Wanted. And somehow they ended up getting down with the INDs and shit, right? And when Tracy was like, yo, we got the guys, fuck that IND shit. Not in those particular words, but he was like, forget INDs, man. Let's start a crew, man. And he started Wild Style. You know, he said, let's start Wild Style. And Wild Style, he was like, yo, Wild Style's not really, it's much more than just graffiti, than a crew. Because it was a crew at first. And he was like, yo, it's a way of life, man. It's how we live. We rack things up. We steal everything. You know, we fight. We get high. You know, we chase women. You know, shit like that. That's what Wild Style was all about, man. You know, Wild Style was living like crazy. It was like living on the edge. I mean, it was about living, man. Living. And Tracy knew how to live. And he passed that on to me. You know, me and a couple other guys, man. But I really took to heart everything that he taught me, man. You know, he taught me a lot of stuff, man. And it's a shame because, you know, like towards the end, man, we weren't the best of friends because a lot of things happened between us. And I'm not here to talk about those things. I'm here to, you know what? I'm here to celebrate his life because he taught me so much. Right. And, you know, I had to learn to forgive myself for being angry at him and understand that, you know, he was who he was, and he was just a great man, you know,
you guys, so first whole car together, like,
what
was the primary lines like that you guys were like,
dude, man,
killing the ones, we're killing the twos.
Shit, man, when I fucking went in there, man, it was funny because it was about fucking just looking at what everybody else was doing, man, you know, what was running it and trying to keep up with that. And of course, you know, your first pieces, man, ain't the best. In your mind they are, but they really not, you know. But I went in there and I was like absorbing. I was like a sponge. You know, my first mentor, this guy named Padre Dos, Jesus Cruz, man, he wrote Bach, right? Bach 1, you know, and he told me, he says, yo T, man, you know, when you're piecing, man, you know, you're going to see a lot of stuff. That the whole thing is not to bite what they do, but incorporate what you like from their style. You know, you got to look at the style, not at what they do, but their style. What does that mean? You know, composition, how things are put together. That's how you got to look at it. You know, you gotta frame it in your mind like geometric shit or whatever the fuck, man. You know, and somehow incorporate a little bit of that into your style. And that's the basis. That's why I stay relevant to this day, because, you know, I incorporate everything that I see today. The new artists, you know. Well, yes. And so when I was on them trains and I'm putting them lines down, this is what's going through my mind, what Padre had taught me, you know, and then what Tracy instilled in me, the composition, you know, the colors. He was like, yo, man, listen, man, you know, once you do your piece, man, you know, you gotta put the character, but it's gotta be in the right spot, man. So, you know, I always look, like if you look at my whole cars, my end to ends, you always see where the character is at and how it always accents the piece. You know, because that's what it was all about. Because he always said, yo, graffiti is about your name. It's about putting your name on that train, and everything else there is to accent, you know? And that's why, like when this whole culture of hip hop, you know, the music was celebrating the art. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't this art celebrating the music. You know, for us, it was like, yo, okay, the music was there. You know, the gang culture was, you know, going out of style because of all the killing and all that stuff, man. You know, and you had all these young kids that had to go through their rite of passage with all this energy, you know, hence the breakdancing and the up-rocking and all that stuff. You know, fights went from gang fights to breakdance battles, man, you know? It went from that to that, and the music was like so eclectic, man. You had rock and roll, you had jazz, you had freaking bossa nova, salsa, everything mixed in, man, you know, to come out with these beats and these cuts and all that stuff. And that was the same energy that graffiti had, you know? And that's what it was all about in those times. It was about that energy, you know? It wasn't just the culture, it was the energy that culture was producing, man, you know? And that's what made that time so incredible and what we did so incredible. And that's why people want what we do nowadays. That's why I'm able to sell paintings for the price that I sell them for, because I bring that energy, man, you know? That's what it was all about. And it was about escaping. You know, Tracy says, yo, we got to escape this reality, because we would hang out and we see all the bullshit, the roaches, the apartments, you know, the people, all the overcrowding, all the fucked up shit, man, you know? And we like, yo, man, we got to get out of this shit. And how we did it through our arts. We go into a yard and we express ourselves on the train. We became a voice, man. You know, a voice of a youth that was growing at this time. You know, you got to remember, back in those days, man, the cops, man, yo, they weren't the nicest fucking cops. They would fuck us up for any little fucking reason. God forbid you was the wrong color. I hate to say it. It ain't about racism. It ain't about this, that, or the other. It was about just a fact of life. You know, most of the cops are Irish.
Times were different in this.
And they would, and I mean, listen, cops had no problem hitting you in the head with their fucking stick. And guess what? That was part of life. You accepted it. It was okay. You go home and brag of, yo, I got knocked in the head today. Yo, Bobby O'Shea, Officer O'Shea just fucking smacked me with his billy club and shit, you know? That was funny. But what the fuck did I do? I was out there fucking trying to sell joints, of course, man, you know? So, hey, that was just reality, man. You know, and you accepted it, man. It was a whole different fucking world. And there was a respect, a mutual, you respect the law, you know, you stay away from the law. And it was like a cat and mouse game when it came to graffiti, man. You know, they had to catch you. You know, they had to catch you in the act. You know, and if they didn't catch you, we got away, man. You know, even though they knew who he was, they, you know, that wasn't no good. They had to catch us.
There was those iconic guys, those cops.
You had Hickey and Skeet. You had Stewie Freeman. You had Freeman, man. Freeman was the badass motherfucker, man. Yo.
Did you have any particular like?
Officer Willis.
What was one of your favorite layups to hit?
My favorite layup was well, you first of all, let me explain to you what a layup is, because you got tunnels, you got layups, and you got yards. Yeah. Layup is the elevated trains where they lay up trains in the center track. Those are called layups. Okay, my favorite layup, man, to do trains like that was between 207th and 20th Street in the one line, go in Upper Manhattan, just before the bridge going into the Bronx at 225th Street. So it was, I think it was 207th to 214th Street. They used to lay up trains there. We used to go in there and do, you know, hang out by the train station and just go in and do our thing, jump in the tracks and just do our thing, like on a Sunday morning, you know, 1 a.m. or whatever. Then you had tunnels. My favorite tunnel was the one tunnel, because that was like the party tunnel, man. You go in there, you was guaranteed to come out doing at least 3 or 4 cars, man. Then there was the Ghost Yard. That was my favorite yard because that was a repair station. So any train that got fucked up somewhere in the city ended up in that station, that yard to get repaired. And then, you know, 80% of the times it was going to run. 20% of the time it was a good chance it would get buffed, you know. Because I've done a couple of cars that were dope, man, that got buffed, never left the yard, man. You know, and that's sad, man. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure we got flicks of all that.
You know, let me tell you, man, you know, back then it wasn't all about flicks, man. We were about just painting. Not until we met a guy named Henry Chaffin that people really get serious about taking flicks, man, taking pictures. I remember seeing Henry on 125th Street like noon on a Monday morning, because we was waiting for some cars that we did. And, you know, there he was taking pictures and stuff. And we were like just waiting to see the cars. And he came and he's there with his camera and we see this fucking guy. And we're like, yo, what the fuck? And he was like, here comes my car. And he's taking pictures, you know, of my car, man. It was the So Good You Can Eat It car, man. He was like, yo, that car is good. And I says, yeah, man, you know, I did that car. He goes, you're T-Kid. He knew who I was. I was shocked. So he knew who writers were. So he was taking pictures. So, you know, I started taking pictures. But, you know, back then I didn't have money for no fancy camera, no 35 millimeter. Right, I used to get those little we used to rack them up in the supermarket, the Kodak 126, man, you know, with the mail-in film that you mail in, you get the packet to mail in the film and shit, man. You know, you take these pictures with a 126 camera or a 110 click. We used to call them clicks because you click, you know, that kind of shit, man. You know, it was fucking crazy, man. You know, it's a good thing that a lot of the cars that I have is the ones that Henry gave me. Henry took so many pictures of my trains and stuff, man, you know, and he blessed me. That's the good thing about him, you know, he gave back. I give credit to Henry Chaffin because he gave back to the guys who actually did the work, and he had a mad respect for us, man. He appreciated what we do. Same thing with Martha Cooper, you know. I mean, Martha Cooper, you know, the thing with Martha Cooper, you wanted to get her to know her back in the days because she created Dondi. She made Dondi the famous star that he is, you know, and everybody wanted some of that and stuff, man. You know, I know her and I think she's just a great person, man. You know, she's a cool person. That lady, man, at this age nowadays, man, that lady was painting trains. I seen her. She's been to the yards with me to take pictures. You know what I'm saying? Great. And it's just amazing, man, that, you know, but that's the energy that, once again, we're going back to this energy that this culture has created, that gives us, man, that this energy that we have, that's all about the love we have for what we're doing, man, you know, and I don't think you could find that in anything else, man. You know, between the music, I mean, what we were listening to back then, you know, I told you, man, the music was an eclectic mix of, I mean, it was everything from rock and roll to soul. Dude, man, you know, you take those beats, you put them together, and come on, man. Yo, funk, you know what I'm talking about, funk. You're a music man, bro. You know? Exactly. And it's like, yo, boom. And that's what, like, whenever I painted, I had that always in my head, man, that music that, yo, we would come out of the yards, and in the summertime, coming out of the Ghost Yard, walking up Fordham Road, going over there, passing St. James Park, man, they'd be fucking block parties and street jams right in the park and whatnot. And just go wash our hands in the fire hydrant and stuff, man.
James, get some mescaline.
Yeah, I was one of the guys that sold the mescaline in freaking St. James. You know, Papa Smurf, man, yo, he was the man. But you know, that was his brand and shit. And me and Stop, this kid Stop, the microdots, bro. You know, that's what we used to do and shit, man. You know, but
here we are now. We're in the 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah.
Right now.
So in the mid 80s, man, you know, yeah, I'm slowing down because you know I met a girl and stuff. I had a son, so I got a city job. You know, I had to chill out and stuff. But then I started traveling to Europe. You know, Henry hooked me up with this some people from a company called Newton and Godwin out of England and stuff, man. You know. They saw my work and they contacted Henry and said, yo, we want this guy to come and paint a mural for us for TDK cassettes. Remember the cassette tapes? Sure. So that was my first trip to Europe. I think it was 85 or 86.
Wow,
right?
You were going out there that early.
Yeah, man, 85. Wow. But yo, not for nothing, Brim had just been to England before me.
Wow.
So you know, I wasn't the first. I was like the second, you know? And I remember, man, yo, painting this mural for TDK, man. That shit was dope, man. The way they treated me, how they received me. You know, they hooked me up. They made my own paint, my own colors. You know, I was the first one to do that Easter egg hunt. I planted paint all over the city, all over London, and then went on a radio show. You know, Capital One Radio with I forgot the guy's name, man. Mike something. He died. Mike Allen, something Allen. And he passed away, man. And, you know, I was on there. And I remember I met LL Cool J because, you know, that's when he did Rock the Bells, you know. And he had just came out of there doing an interview and stuff. And I was like, oh, shit, LL, you know. That's dope, man. And I was like, yeah, I did an interview and stuff. You know, you can hear it on YouTube, man, you know. Just put in TKID170, you know, Vauxhall Crossing 1986, and you hear the interview as they're showing the film of me painting the mural and stuff.
Some of the writers, Bando, right?
Mo2. I met Mo2. I met the Chrome Angels, man. So I met Awful Dodger. I met freaking Mo2. Mo2 was a little kid too, man.
Was he really?
Yeah, Awful Dodger, Scribbler. I met these guys and stuff, man, from the Chrome Angels.
We're talking about, these are London graffiti writers.
Well, but the thing is,
France?
No. Well, Mode was, I don't know what reason he was doing there. You know, I want to say, but he might not want me to say what it was. But he was like half French, I think, half British. I'm not sure. I understand his father's like a big time architect or some kind of designer that's a really good artist. But you know, Mo2 was just a savant. And he was a little kid, man, and I met him right there and then and shit. And, you know, we went up to my hotel room and stuff. I showed him, first I went with Scribbler, Awful Dodger, you know, and Mo2, and I was showing him how to rack up. And we was in Piccadilly Circus, you know, by the souvenir stands where it's fucking hard to rack up, and they were amazed on how I was stealing shit, man, you know? In London, in Piccadilly Circus.
In London.
Yeah, man. Racking up, showing them how to rack up.
What happened if you get caught? Like,
yo, you fucking go to jail, man. Come on, they arrest you and shit, man. That's just how it is. In New York, man, in the Bronx, the fucking cops beat you with the stick and say, get the fuck out of here, you know?
Yes.
You know?
You're right, absolutely.
But over there, God knows what they would have done and stuff. And I'm over here showing these motherfuckers how to rack up and shit. And Mo2, so, you know, Mo2, I saw his character. I was amazed. So he came with me, like, he was amazed at me, but he didn't know how to do letters. So I taught him Mo2, the style he does. I showed him that style. I taught him this is how you do letters and stuff. And he took that, man, and, you know, he took it to his level. And he's just one fabulous artist, man. This guy is amazing. He's a savant when it comes to drawing women and characters and this, that, and the other. The guy is amazing, man. You know, and through that, I was able to go another time, and I met this cat, Goldie. That's another fabulous artist, man. Great guy, man. You know,
the DJ Goldie.
Yeah, DJ Goldie from the Metalheads. Goldie. Yeah. Before the Metalhead. Him, 3D. 3D is what's the name of that other group out of Bristol, man? Oh fuck, man.
Yeah, you're right. It's off the tip of my tongue, but
it's all that drum and bass shit, man. All that drum and bass shit, man. Fucking
off cam, we're gonna talk a funny story.
Goldie's my man, bro. Come on. Goldie's my man, bro. He took me, I stood in his house and stuff, man. Yo, we had a great time. You know, so we did the first graffiti battle, and Mode won that graffiti battle. I came in second place. I was pissed off because the judges didn't know. You know, I thought I won that shit. Everybody thought I won that shit, but Mode, because he drew the nice characters and shit, you know. But that's cool, man. You know, ain't no bad blood there, man. So I met Goldie and stuff, and I started hanging. So then the next trip with Goldie, it was me, Bio, Goldie, Volcan, Nysa, and Brim. And we ended up going out there and stuff, and yo, we had a great time, man. We started our vacation in Brighton. Not Brighton like we got over here, but the original Brighton in by the channel and stuff, man. The English Channel is a city called Brighton. And we went in there, we went to Hotel Metropole, man. We had such a, listen, we got kicked out of that hotel. We caused more damage. The Beastie Boys were in London, and they tore up a freaking hotel. We did twice the damage they did, you know? I mean, we had a great time, man.
And when you say the people that you're with, your cohorts, because I hear a couple of different crews. I hear
the Tats crew, yeah.
What other crews were
So Volcan's like basically a protege of Phase 2, man.
Okay.
You know? You had Volcan, you had me, you had Brim, and you had Bio and Nysa and stuff, man. You know, and at that time it was TAT, Tough Artistic Team.
Right.
It wasn't Tats. You know, that's when the guy was totally Spanish. You know, Fat Joe and them and stuff. You know, that's when they became the Tats crew.
And then like,
you know,
like FX was a...
Well, FX came like in the early 90s. We created that crew. And it's funny, man, because I'm the one that came up with the name FX. We were listening to the radio. We were painting a wall in a schoolyard, Webster Avenue. Cope hooked that up. You know, Per was the one that, you know, like basically took over the crew. But it was me, Per. It was Cope 2. It was Serve. I think King B was with us, Nomad, and a couple other guys. Pose, right? Pose 2, he was down with, and Pose was from Yonkers. I knew him from Yonkers. He used to write Doc Cool, you know? And we're listening to the radio, and I remember 92 in full effect, 92 KTU in full effects. And I was like, yo, we should call this crew FX. And then Pose said, yo, let's call the crew FX. And Per said, yeah, FX. And then Perk, and that's how FX. But that was like in 92. I want to say that was in the summer of 92, you know? So that's when that crew came up. But we're talking, now I'm going back to 80, 87, 88, 87 when we was in all together in Wolverhampton. That's where Goldie was from. Okay. Wolverhampton, England, you know, which is in the West Midlands.
Did he take you to a party? Did you guys go?
Oh, gee, dude, I don't want to talk about those parties because, you know, I don't want to put people's shit out there. I'll speak about me. Let me tell you something, man. It was like turning on the faucet when it came to the women. And it was like turning on the faucet, man. You know, and fucking Goldie was a master. I was a master. We were just going places and pulling chicks, like, and bringing them back to. In fact, we got kicked out of the second hotel. We got kicked out of there twice. You know, I found where the ladies that worked there, man, where they had the keys for everything, and we would go at night and we would get the key and we go downstairs, open up the bar and drink for free. You know, go into the kitchen, eat for free. I remember we ate a strawberry tart, and I remember the next day the girl was like, "Somebody ate our strawberry tart. You don't know who did it?" Because I saw where they put the keys, and I remember like the last night we were there, man. I told Bio, man, don't forget to put the key back. He fucking put his room key instead of the keys for the place, and we got busted, man. And we got kicked out again, man. But yo, we had such a great time, man.
The times that you can't recreate.
Yo, dude, it was amazing. The shit that went on, man. You know, with Goldie's brother Melvin. You know, you can't. I mean, I could talk and get into details, but it's pointless, man. It's just like this memory that I got in my heart, man, in my mind, that I'll always...
What's the comparison in the train systems from, like, London to New York?
It really does. It's no different, man. It's a train system. You know, all it is getting to know what the pattern is, when they park the trains, when the workers are in, when the workers leave. You know, same thing with us. Like, we knew once they parked in the city, you know, I hate to say it, but you know, New York City fucking MTA workers, they're the worst. Yep. They're lazy motherfuckers. They'll park those fucking trains, they'll leave them there, and at the last minute, fucking Sunday at night, they'll come in and clean them out. So we got from when they park them and they get the fuck out, You know, we'll go in and we'll stay. We could stay. Like, I would go in the ghost shot on a Friday night and come out on a Sunday fucking afternoon, bro. And not even fucking.
Now, I'm sure if you're traveling abroad, you have a liaison that's going to tell you exactly.
So, since you mentioned that, yeah, you see, and that's the beautiful thing about, especially today with the internet, you know, when Instagram and Facebook and all, people reach out to you. You know, I'll take a picture and I'll say, okay, I'm heading to this place. Like, I just came back from Peru. All right, me and the missus, we went out there. You know, we had a great time, man. Me and my wife, man, such a lovely time. We went out there and I posted, I'm heading to Peru. Next thing I know, I got people hitting me up. You know, they hit me up. Yo, you know, can you come to this town? We're going to be in this town. One cat told me that he was where I was going, or city that I was going to. And I said, yeah, I'm going to that city. This is the time my plane comes in. He goes, I'll pick you up. You know, and I told my wife, and my wife is like, you know, a little skeptical, like, yo, you sure this is okay? And I'm like, baby, come on, man.
Hospitable, yeah.
You know, I said, baby, come on, you know the deal, man. You've been to Europe with me. You know how people are with us.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, you're right. So homeboy was there, and she spotted him right away. I didn't know who he was. And she goes, that's him over there with the hat waving. He looks excited. And I was like, all right, honey. He picked us up, man. Right from the airport, man, we dropped off the stuff at our hotel, and then we went bombing. You know, my wife was holding the camera while I'm over there painting, doing throw-ups and whatnot. Next thing I know, the following day, we're painting with this crew, doing pieces and whatnot.
Oh, so you got to definitely do a couple of full pieces.
Yeah, I did. I did some nice stuff. And the last day that we were there, you know, I ended up in a gallery and painting inside the guy's gallery. And I did that green piece with the characters. Right. People were loving that stuff. We had in fact, we got invited back. And they want to know if I could bring guys like Talkin and whatnot, you know, and Mike 171 and them cats, man, you know, and Scheme and them, you know. And I was like, I could try to bring them in, but you know, people want to get paid and stuff, man. I got no control over that. I could tell you the people, I could connect people. Yes. You know, that's the one thing, I could connect people when it comes to graffiti, like I was doing in the Netherlands with the Unframed Gallery. You know, my man Sayer, man, you know, that's one of the coolest cats I ever met, man. He's so down to earth and he's so into graffiti, man. You know, I mean, the guy showed me the ins and outs of certain yards. I mean, he arranged one thing. This thing was like Mission Impossible, dude. I mean, this was the first.
And this is in what country?
This was in Belgium. Let's just say it was in Belgium. And he arranged he wanted to break the world record, and we broke the world record. I think we did a total of 14 or 15 whole cars. And what I mean about whole cars is like, these are top to bottom, end to end, one name on each car.
Oh my God.
One name on each car. I had my own car, and these trains are huge. Okay, they're twice the size of New York City trains. Okay, wow. So we're talking about we did like fucking 15 of them shits, man. And the way he set it up, I mean, I don't know who he knew, but he had a key to get into the yard. We drove 3 vans with ladders and paint. You know how much paint we needed to do these cars? Dude, miss dan. Yo, we pull in, I'm like, and I'm just going with the flow. That's one thing I learned is go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Don't fuck with the program. They know the program. They got it down packed. They've been doing it for a long time, you know. And I just went with the flow, man. And I remember, man, he rest in peace, my brother Ski, man. I was so happy that I took him with me, you know. And we went. He did a whole car. My boys from Chicago, Empty, and my man, I want to call him Mr. International. He's a dope motherfucker, man. You know, he's notorious and he's wanted, so I'm not gonna say his name, but he did his whole car. You know, then you had Baps, you know, Sayer, you had all these motherfuckers, man, from all over, from France, from the Netherlands, from the UK. I mean,
how long?
Yo, we were there. We went there. We got there. I want to say we got there around midnight. Motherfuckers was leaving out of there like 5 a.m. Okay. So it was like a 5-hour thing. I did mine in 3.5 hours, bro, with fat caps, man. You know, it was insane. Ski did his shit, man. He did his shit quick, man. He was done fast, you know. And we was there, and then we broke out. We had our own car, and we broke out. We left.
How long did it run for?
Yo, that shit, man, that shit ran for a minute, man. That shit ran for a minute. That's the good thing about them Belgian trains, man. They run.
They accept
you know?
the guys who kind of really an art form.
Nah, it's just manpower, how they, how they clean things. I mean, they get to it eventually, but it's such a big system. It's a huge system.
Yeah.
So by the time they get to your shit, and it's always 50-50. They could get it right away or they could not. That's just how it goes, man.
What's your favorite country?
My favorite country, well, I love France. I love France because, France, I don't know what it is, that connection I have, man. I met Bando in the Roxy. Remember the Roxys?
Sure.
1018? 1018. So I met Bando in the Roxy, man. It was me, Rack 7, 2 Draw, and we ran into this cat named Bando, and he was like, yo, you're a T kid, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, he's my boy's Rack 7, he's my boy 2 Draw, and we built this connection, this bond and stuff. And, we started writing. I took him with me, Ghost Yard. I took him to paint walls and whatnot, and we hung out, man. And he was telling me about France and all the writers. And, Bando came from a, if I tell you the name of his family, you would freak the fuck out, man. Let me put it like this. His father had a Park Avenue fucking townhouse. Okay, one floor was dedicated to it was called the White Room, where the rugs was white and the baby grand piano was white, chandeliers, diamond chandeliers, that kind of shit.
He didn't even come from the New York social decay.
Nah, he came from the French. His father is
well-to-do person.
His father. Let's just say Lehman. Okay, that's the only thing I'm gonna say. But anyway, but he was a real cat. And he came in and I took him. Kind of took him under my wing for a minute, and we did some dope work together, man. We did a lot of dope work together. And, I built this like affection for France. And then later on, I want to say in the year 2000, around there, Cope, I was doing a lot of walls with Cope and stuff, man. We were killing shit, man. And, he knew these cats. Cope, I got to give one thing to Cope, man. At that time, he knew everybody. Whoever was coming from Europe, he already knew. He had emailed them or whatever. And he was building bridges with people, and he met these guys, man. Noah 2, Congo, Seat, Tilt. He already had introduced me to Mist, who we did a dope wall together. And these guys were all French, man. They came from France, and then we did the Mike Tyson wall. We did a bunch of walls with these guys, man. We did the Big L wall, the guy that passed away and shit, Big L. We did a Big L wall.
ITC.
Yeah. So, he arranged all this shit, and I met all these guys. And then I remember, man, Seat and Congo, they brought us out to Toulouse, France for the True School anniversary. And then from there, we went up. We were hitting trains going up to Paris, We had, and it was like, wow. And I finally made it to Paris, and in my mind, I'm thinking about what Bando told me back in the 80s. Now it's 2000, and I'm thinking about this stuff, and I'm like, damn, and here I am. And then finally I started, I finally got to hit those French metros. But the important thing is, the reason I love France so much is because the people, the way they look at graffiti art, especially guys from my era, they love us, they appreciate, they know, they could feel the energy. They crave that energy. They love that energy.
You created a culture.
Yeah, and they love us for that. And it's like the same thing with Germany. Germany's, I can't forget Germany. Berlin, man. Oh my God, that's another city, man. When I was there in '94, man, I started a lot of style. And a lot of people learned from me in '94, and Berlin kind of like, was influenced by me. And even guys like Doc who came after and did their thing and shit, but really me, man, and these cats, man, they're all about hardcore. See, that's the one thing, the difference,
When you say hardcore,
I'm talking about real graffiti artists stealing shit and painting trains, none of that wall stuff, doing shit
really
like that.
Going against the grain,
Right.
the system.
These about bombing the system. They're all hardcore, and they love that. And they're all about style. They study the style. I mean, come on, man. The shit that's coming out of Germany now when it comes to style and letters, it's fucking amazing, bro. When it comes to street art and shit like that, I got to give it to France, because France, they got some really good fucking artists there. This is one cat. I love this dude, man. His name is Alex, man. This guy could draw anybody. anything. And the way his technique, the way he does it, it's fucking amazing, man. You know, and then you got my brother Brock, you know, BROK, man, you know, with the 3H crew, 3HC, you know, and TMB. This guy, the styles of letters that he's doing, he's fucking amazing.
And what country he's from?
That's France, you know, France. But once again, you know, I'll go back to Germany and shit and then look at the fucking way they're flipping shit around, man. Because it's fucking wild style, simple but crazy. You know, it's, man, listen, I just love it, man. I just love it. I'm just glad that I'm part of it, you know, and I could talk about it, man. You know, and then you got the other countries. You got Netherlands, man, you know, who are hardcore bombers. You know, you got the Italians. Oh, the Italians. They're crazy motherfuckers, man. Gotta love them. Going to Italy and doing all those fucking trains and shit. You know, they're about being hardcore too, man, but they're really good artists too. You know, can't take nothing from any country, man. Listen, we got some hardcore from Budapest. You know, there's this one cat, I love this cat, man. And I didn't like him at first because he's arrogant, but yo, the dude is dope, man. His name is Emzer, man. And that guy, that cat, wherever he goes, he's all about painting them trains, man. He's been all over the world painting trains, man. You know, and I give it to him, man. That's an all-world bomber, bro.
Right.
All-world, you know?
Do you have a particular, would you prefer a gallery right now? What somebody had to say, yo, T-Kid.
Listen, I'm looking.
Let's go bomb this. What would it be? Would it rather be a gallery? Would you rather a wall?
I'd rather do a freaking ghost yard joint, man. Fucking subway train, man. I like subway trains, man. The smell of that shit, man. You know, the thrill that it gives me, you know. It's not about money, man. You know, the galleries, yeah, that's all nice. You know, let me put you like this. Let me go do a fucking piece on a fucking train and then take that piece and fucking put it in the gallery. How about that? Right. You know, that's what but really, man, the reality is I'd rather do a fucking train, man. Now, I just love trains, bro.
There's whole cars that are running right now. Talk about it. Tell me what's running.
Yo, right now, man, yo, the Europeans are coming over here, so man. Yo, you got some dope crews, man, in the United States, man. Some crews coming out of Chicago, coming out of, you know, out of the
riders that we're seeing on the train are not per se Bronx riders or
there's a couple, but most of them are Europeans or from another state, man.
Wow.
Yo, they coming in here, they're doing their thing, man. It's their turn. It's their turn. You know, it's real simple.
Yeah,
it's their turn.
Listen,
you know, we all get a turn, man. I had my turn.
You can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
That's right, man.
You do a whole car.
You gotta understand.
Right there, man,
Word, man. You gotta understand, man. You know, New York City is the Mecca. It's the fucking Mecca of graffiti, man. You know, every writer throughout the United States, throughout the world, wants to come to New York and do a New York City subway. Once they do that shit, they know that they're official, bro. And it's true, and they're coming and they're killing it. And some of these cars, I've seen some pictures, bro. Oh my God. These guys are fucking great, man. They're fucking awesome, man.
I love it because some of it looks like it's older school, like kind
of like simple, but dope.
Dope, very legible, nothing so wild that you couldn't understand it.
Exactly, and they do it fast.
Point across, you know?
Exactly, and they do it fast too. But the truth of the matter is, they work in crews. You know,
right.
And it's funny because I talked about that, man, in subway graffiti art.
On the yards right now, are they on like they were back in the days where like there was barbed wires and you got a lot. You got now back in the days it was simple, man. You had barbed wires, you could cut barbed wire. You know, they try to do the double fence with the dog in between. You go over that shit. That wasn't a big deal. But mostly, man, we cut through the fucking fences, man. We cut through the barbed wire. We cut through the fences. We went over. We went under. We went whatever. Nowadays, there's more sensors. You know, cameras. You know, nowadays it's different because, you know, they got cameras and sensors. The sensor tells them you're there, turns on the cameras. Next thing you know, you're painting. Next thing you know, the cops come. You know, that's the thing. And that's why I give it to these guys, man. They go in and they do their shit fast. They work as a team. They work together. They get shit done. They're in and out. They'll do a whole fucking train. You know, I'm talking end to end, like the first car to the last car of the train. They'll do the whole fucking thing in a half an hour. And it'll be like 30 guys. They'll go right in there. Where is it a layup? Is it a yard?
I ain't gonna tell you where it's at. I don't know where it's at. I know nothing. I swear, officer, I know shit. I know nothing. I was with my wife, man. Ask her. I was with my wife that night, banging the shit out of her. All right. So yo, I don't know nothing, bro.
There you go. right now, I mean, graffiti is up to, it's taking new levels.
Yo, graffiti is graffiti. You can't stop graffiti, man. I don't know what this talk about, oh, graffiti's over, the trains are dead, this, that, man. Graffiti is more alive than ever. It's such an underground culture that, yo, dude, it's fucking dope, man. And I'm so proud to be a foundation, part of that foundation, man. You know, that I was schooled by the best, Padre Dose, you know, Tracy 168. I got to fucking chill with Phase 2 and he get some of his wisdom. You know, cats like Stan, cats like freaking Riff 170, man. You know, Kid 17, you know, talk to Taki, one of the sweetest fucking guys, man. Taki 183, man. You know, get that whole thing on bombing, man.
Taki was not per se in Style Wars. He was mentioned in Style Wars.
Taki was like one of the first writers to get noticed by the fucking, you know, by the media, by the mainstream media, which was the New York Times. They did an article about graffiti and, you know, it happened to be a Taki tag and they talked about that. You know, and in Star Wars, Zephyr mentioned Taki, you know, used that as ground zero for this evolution of graffiti. But, you know, it's not entirely accurate because graffiti's been longer before Taki. You know, Taki was just one of the guys, you know, that got noticed. You know, just like Dandy is like God in Europe, but he was just one of the guys, you know, from my era. You know, that you had 20 guys that were, you know, listen, even Duro, that Dandy style, I'm not trying to take nothing from Dandy.
Yes.
Duro, that style that Dandy was doing was more like the Duro style. Duro really had that shit down packed. That was his style. Just like Keith Haring, you know, the Crawling Babies, that was that kid LA shit. You know, he taught him that shit from what I understand, you know. And it's funny, man, you know, people, hit or miss. It's like the lottery, bro. You know, that's right, yo. You got to play the lottery, man. You got to be in it to win it.
I mean, listen, now especially, I think that it's not considered decay anymore. Now it's considered official art. And that's the transition, and you guys are totally getting your flowers across the board, man.
Word.
And, you know, the whole point is man, we want to see more. Like
yeah, man.
Like Hap says in
I don't want
more.
I want many. I don't want the biggest or the beautifulest. I want more. Cap, man. Look, gotta love Cap, man.
Okay, listen, since we're on that particular subject.
Yeah. I was the only guy to fight him in Fashion Motor. I remember Fashion Motor. You know, I broke his nose. He's a big guy, man. You know, he held on to my face. He wouldn't let go. But yo, I was pounding on that motherfucker left and right. You know, Cap. You know, I fought him, and I'm proud to fight him and shit, man.
That's
you know.
Crazy.
But after that, I'm gonna tell you something. After that fight, we became friends, man. You know, we squashed our beef. You know, and that's back in the days. That's how it was, man. You know, you fought,
you shook hands afterwards,
and you shook hands afterwards, and no hard feelings, bro. You know, he went home with his lumps. I went home with my lumps. You know.
Yo, which just brings me to the graffiti beefs.
Graffiti beefs.
What, like, you know, and I know as I'm asking people to come in and talk and they want to know who's there, and, you know, I don't want to mix it up with this one if he's going to be in the building, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you had a lot of that.
Is graffiti beef still around? Is it still prevalent?
To some extent, there's always going to be beef, man. You know, that's just a way of life, man. I mean, you know, people, you got to remember, graffiti is a culture of egos. You know, yes. I mean, and the truth of the matter is, to write your name and bomb it, you have to be one egotistical motherfucker, bro. You know, because that's really what it's all about. You know, and so because of that one particular thing, you're gonna have beef. You're gonna have, you know, people are just not gonna play nice. You know, some people will just not get along for whatever reasons. You know, but as you get older and you get wiser and you start to realize the foolishness of it, you know, the silliness of it. You start to say, do I really, does this really necessarily, is it necessary in my life today? You know, I rather fucking shake hands with those people that I didn't get along with in the past and you know, bygones be bygones, man. You know, no hard feelings for nothing, and show them the love and the respect, you know, as long as they show the love and respect to me. You know, it's a give and take. You want respect, you gotta give respect. That's how that goes. And as you get older, you realize that. And sometimes it's by being who you are and being truthful and honest with people and letting them know, yo, listen, this is what it is, you know, you're going to get that respect and you're going to give that respect, you know. But as, you know, you're going to have a lot of young knuckleheads that still got that chip on their shoulder, that still got something to prove, you know, that rite of passage, Because that's just human nature, man. It's just human nature. So you're gonna have beef, man. But you know what? Like I said, beef ends eventually, man. You know, it ends, whether good or bad, but it does end eventually. And you see the fucking uselessness of it. Right. And that's really what it comes down to, because it's useless. You know, if people work together, we get so much further.
Much more done.
Yeah, we would get a lot further, man.
So right now, where is T-Kid? What's in the future for T-Kid?
So basically, you know, I'm living my life, man. I'm living my best life. I like to paint. I do my art. I exhibit. I travel. You know, I'm all about traveling, man. You know, and whenever I get the chance, as old as I am, I'm going to paint something. I'm going to paint, whether it's a train, whether it's a wall, whether it's whatever. I'm going to paint because that's what I love to do. And I love to do it with the new cats, man, you know. Nothing excites me more than to paint with the guys from nowadays that are doing their thing. You know, and if I could teach them something, you know, even better.
Who's your favorite, who's like, come on, man, who's the newest artist that you're like feeling?
Dude, man, there's so many. I can't just name one. That would be.
Well, let's say, let's not, because I know Europe is a whole different ball game, but let's say here in America.
Damn, here in America, man. You know what, man? I like these cats, man, the NBC crew. They, you know, I was just, and it's not for nothing, man. You know, I was a judge at a graffiti battle, and I was looking, all the crews were fucking great and they did dope work, but these guys, like I literally sat and watched these guys work together. The concept they came up with, the use of colors, the style, you know, that they used, man. You know, and it was an eclectic group, man. A couple of guys California, one from Wisconsin, one from Chicago. You know, they were like, and they came together and they worked together and they produced this fucking wall, you know. And I'm not just gonna give one name because that's not fair to the rest of the guys.
Right.
But together as a team, that crew showed me that they're top level guys that I admire and I look up to. You know, the same thing with the X-Men Chicago. Those guys, they got together and they did the same shit, you know. And another crew, the Mule Crew, what they do is fucking outrageous, man. It's fucking awesome, man. And the other crews that were there, but that one particular crew, I was able to see them work together and work in harmony. And that's really what really, you know, made me look at what they were doing, because they enjoyed it. It just brought me back to when I was doing that So Good You Could Eat It car with Pessa and Race and Mike Duss. We was in that tunnel, man. You know, yo, Mike was like, yo, what color you want me to fill this in? And he was filling it in, you know? We had that teamwork, like instinctively. He knew where to go and paint. Same thing with fucking Cooper, you know, Race. He was like, yo, T, what's up, man? The background over here, what's up? Yo, and Pessa, y'all, T, you know, you need to put some chocolate drips over here, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what it was about, man. And that's the feeling that I got when those guys were doing their thing, man. You know, I was like, wow, man, that shit is amazing, bro. That shit is amazing. So yeah, man, you know, I want to say that you know, that particular crew. But then again, you know, that's not the only crew. You got other people doing things too, and that I haven't experienced like I experienced those guys, you know, and those other crews that were there. But you know, like I said, man, for right now, just
is there any other countries that you haven't been to that you want to go to?
Let me see.
Have you done it like Japan or any of that?
I've been to China. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Beijing. You know, I've been to Brazil, Sao Paulo, Peru, you know, Medellin, Colombia.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go to Croatia. I hear there's a lot of great art out there. You know, I want to check out that place. I haven't been there yet. Croatia. I want to do, I want to get, you know, some of the Eastern European countries that I haven't visited yet. You know, but most of the Western countries I've visited and painted and did my thing and stuff, you know. But, you know, in some states here in New York, I mean, in the United States that I got to still do, you know. Been to California, up and down the East Coast, you know, Seattle. I've been all over the place, man. You know, I can't say I got one favorite place, but, you know, I got some places that I do appreciate more than others.
Very good, very good. Well, man, this is really good. Thank you for coming.
Yo, my pleasure, man.
You know, again, you are part of our culture, and it was such a pleasure here to just chop it up with you for about an hour or so.
Thank you, brother.
And
Thank you.
I know that, man, y'all could expect you're going to be seeing some big writers coming through in a short period of time. So thank you for tuning in.
You got it. Peace.